Jake Weddle that's like, I hated it at first and now I really like it. I feel like this guy's like me. I feel like he's just like me. Just this video is so awesome.
Swear to God, I was in my room dancing like BBL Drizzy.
BBL Drizzy. This is a Drake thing, right?
BBL Drizzy.
This is so awesome, dude. This is the most fire video I've ever seen. Oh my God, it's Mr. Beast! Mr. Beast! Trey Yates did an interview.
It's been a few weeks
with someone named The Asher Show about Mr. Beast. And I'm very curious to watch this. Now, keep in mind, this is all alleged. There's, from what I understand, no proof of all these claims being made. But we're going to check it out. We're going to see what this interview might reveal as far as more allegations. Shout out Mr. Beat. Mr. Beat. Let's get into it.
It's been a few weeks since MrBeast has been called out for his company's practices. Multiple ex-employees have come forward with their stories, and some ex-employees still have their stories to tell.
I am now in contact with a lawyer that was provided by Rosanna Pansino.
I even spoke with an ex-editor of MrBeast who had a lot to share that I'm going to be sharing with you today.
I actually went to therapy after MrBeast because it was like that impactful for me.
But throughout this entire ordeal, MrBeast has been uploading videos like business as usual, even though people have been wondering why he hasn't made a statement. Well, not in the way that you might think.
We're talking about Jimmy Donaldson, but you probably know him as MrBeast.
I want to be honest, chat. At this point, I don't think Mr. Beast is going to respond at all. I don't think he is whatsoever. Because Dogpack, he f***ed up his latest claim. His last video was literally had a false allegation in it that is actionable. The claim against James Warren. Did I talk about this on stream, by the way? I recorded a video about it this morning. Dogpack straight up slandered James Warren and claimed that he was beating women. And it turns out the court cases did not show that at all. People aren't talking about the allegations nearly as much. This video, if it was released a couple months ago, maybe it would have gotten like 10 million views. This one doesn't even have a million after a week. It's close. But yeah, I think it's in Mr. Beast's best interest in terms of self-preservation. I think he won't respond. I think he'll just keep uploading videos. I don't think it's going to happen at all. There's no benefit to him responding at this point, which is, you know, kind of up. I feel like there's a lot of up that has been revealed by Dogpack's first two videos, but it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen. But yeah, didn't Ludwig say he won't work with Mr. Beast if he doesn't respond? He did say that, but you know, I don't know if that's going to really be the case, to be honest with you. And maybe he won't. You know, I'll give Ludwig some charitability. Maybe he won't work with Mr. Beast going forward because he hasn't responded. But I don't think Mr. Beast is going to respond. Keemstar said on Twitter, I want to say a week and a half ago, he said he would respond next week, meaning last week. That has come and gone. It's now Monday. You know, he hasn't responded. I don't think it's happening. What benefit would there be? People aren't even talking about the story anymore, really. Beast just announced he's teaming up with Logan Paul. Yeah, I saw they're making Lunchables now. Yeah, here we go. Mr. Beast, KSI, and Logan Paul are releasing Lunchly, a Lunchables competitor. It will feature Prime, Feastables chocolate, and a variation of food. A variation of food. So here we've got cheese and crackers. We've got pizza. We've got Prime in it. We've got a little Feastables bar. I'll try it out on stream. I'll try it out. I have something to show you guys that's funny. I was at the CD store the other day with some of my friends. I bought a Carly Rae Jepsen CD, but I also bought something else that I found in their clothing section, which you wouldn't expect to be there. But I saw it. It was like $4. I had to get it. There's green on it, so the green screen is going to affect it a little bit. But look at that. Look at that. Feast like a beast. Yeah. This is hilarious. I don't even know how they had this there, but I did get it. You see the back? Mr. Beast bar. I don't know. It's too large for me. They didn't have a... I wear size large. This is 2XL, so it's going to be kind of big on me, but I had to get it, okay? I had to feast like a beast. There's no way around it. There's no way around it, chat. Redbubble drip. I mean, it's like terrible merch for sure, but yeah. It is what it is. Turn into a crop top? What are we, gay? What are we, gay?
William Malas speaks with another YouTube star who's looking to expose what's really behind the scenes of MrBeast's empire.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ash Show, and if you're new, welcome. There's been a lot of news articles, videos, and claims being made about MrBeast. Claims such as MrBeast faked his videos, he knowingly hired a registered sex offender, and that the contestants were being mistreated on the sets of his shows. I highlighted a few of these claims in a previous video, but that was weeks ago.
Tom, you single-handedly turned me from the kind of person who would unironically watch the soy boy leftist stuff to calling people IRL. I mean, I guess that's base. To be clear, I don't think you should be calling like your boss or someone you don't know in real life. It's probably not a good idea. You're probably going to cause some social tension with that. That is funny, but You know, you could say it in the company of friends, but I wouldn't recommend, you know, when your boss asks you to do something, being like, you might get fired if you do that. You might get fired.
And at the time, Jimmy was radio silent on those allegations. Instead, he has been uploading videos to his channel and hiring lawyers to silence others who have been talking about him. That's right, Dogpack 404 got hit with a cease and desist where he replied, "Facts ain't defamation." Actually, he hired the same lawyer that represented Alec Baldwin.
But what's funny about that is, like, Dogpack did technically defame the MrBeast company with the James Warren stuff. He did technically defame them, which is like an ironic twist, because prior to that, you could probably say a lot of the claims he made were real. Like, he had evidence to back it up, but he did defame James Warren, undoubtedly. So I wouldn't be shocked if that guy caught a lawsuit.
After he shot someone on set, Alex Spiro, which people think might look like an admission of guilt. PR experts claim that MrBeast might have made the worst response by hiring celebrity lawyer Alex Spiro.
I mean, people will say that. It's not a good look to, like, the general public who, like, you know, sees like celebrity lawyer, but, you know, the guy's probably a celebrity lawyer for a reason. Didn't Alec Baldwin get his charges, like, dropped? Alec Baldwin charges dropped. Did that happen? Yeah, the case got dismissed. So that was probably the right guy to hire, if anything. You know, if you're practically speaking. Maybe on Twitter, people will be like, why would you ever hire that guy? But, like, on a technicality, well, that's still a technicality. Like, that still means it got dropped and he doesn't go to jail. That's still a win. He's still not going to jail. I don't even know specifically if Alec Baldwin, like, his level of guiltiness, I haven't looked over it, but, like, he got it dropped. That's what you want, right? It's better to have it dropped on a technicality than go to jail on a technicality, right? W is a W.
But on top of all of that, we found out recently that MrBeast actually spoke privately with Jake Weddle. On August 16th, Jake Weddle, the ex-employee who broke the news about MrBeast having hired a RSO, released a video titled "Caught Jimmy in a Secret Recording."
I did, bro. I have this video, like, in my mind on loop. There's this one video of Jake Weddle that's like, I hated it at first and now I really like it. I feel like this guy's like me. I feel like he's just like me. Just this video is so awesome.
Swear to God, I was in my room dancing like baby Drizzy.
Yeah.
Drizzy.
It's honestly not even that bad until the end where he's like, that's when it gets really bad. The beginning is like, it's not like the worst thing ever when he's like BBL Drizzy, but the worst part is the end. Let's just watch it again.
Swear to God, I was in my room dancing like baby Drizzy.
BBL Drizzy. This is a Drake thing, right?
Baby Drizzy.
This is so awesome, dude. This is the most fire video I've ever seen. Sometimes I wonder if Dogpack's actually controlled opposition to distract us from Chris Tyson. And that's funny, I guess. Definitely not true. Nick said I hate this guy irrationally. I think it's rational. But, you know. BBL Drizzy. I think what Jake Weddle needed to do is, you know, just act more like this video, which I've already shown on stream 4 times, but we're playing it again because you.
Why so serious?
That's what he should have done. He should have done that. Would have been amazing. Would have been way better. If MrBeast would say, like, imagine if he posted a video that was like response to the allegations with like a picture of him looking sad in the camera, and then you click on it and it's like him doing Joker beatboxing. It's like top 10. He's like, what's up, guys? Today we're doing top 10 Hawk Tua respect moments. Yes, yes, yes. That would be so good, bro. My favorite Nine Inch Nails song, True. What's up, Isaiah? I don't think I can be your friend anymore. You never were my real friend if you don't respect the jonkler, okay? You're nothing. You're nothing to me, man. If you don't respect the Joker beatboxing, you're nothing to me. You ain't nothing to me, man. Okay? My true friends, meaning chat. My true friends are called chat, okay? And they respect the jonkler. A lot. A lot.
The title was clickbait. There was no secret recording, and most of the video was just a stream of consciousness. But there was a part 8 minutes into the video where he said that MrBeast DM'd him and even called to try and make things right.
He said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video, and I apologize. Clearly, it had an effect on you. You mentioned you'd like to be paid out the rest of the prize money, the other $190,000. And I'd love to make things right with you. I have zero expectation of you mentioning me sending you this money publicly or taking down any videos. This is just me wanting to help you out and make sure you're good. I just need to know if you still have the same bank or not. We'll send you the money on Monday. Wish you the best.
So Jake was offered the remainder of the prize money from the video, which he participated in. He said he didn't want the money, but he counted it with a lower amount with the hope that he can continue to make videos talking about Jimmy in future videos.
Counter.
Wait, what? Why wouldn't he just take all of it? My wife asked him a question yesterday. He responded with the Joker video. I did do that. I did do that to Wendigoon's wife, and it was deserved. I'm going to start calling him at 3 a.m. He's going to be like, I'm going through a dark time. He's going to be like, wait, what is it? What is it, Turkey Tom? Turkey Tom, what is it? I'm going to be like, why so serious? But why did it turn out 190K? Is that like a respectable thing? If MrBeast offered me 190K, I would drive really fast. I wouldn't commit a crime though, but I would do anything he wanted. 190K, dude. He'll blow through it and need other income probably. But like what? Why so curious? True. Why ask for less? He took part of it so he didn't feel like a sellout. But how would he be a sellout? MrBeast isn't asking him to like take the money to like defend him. He's just offering him 190K that he feels like he was owed. Like I would counter and be like, how about 250 and we'll call it square. Like if someone messages you, you know, they're like, keep in mind, they didn't do anything criminal to you, but they did, you know, cause some emotional distress to you. And they're like, hey man, I know you called me out. You're free to keep doing it. You don't have to, you know, say that I gave you this money or anything. I just want to make things right with you. I'm offering you $10,000 short of $200,000. Your response is then give me a fourth of that. I would be like, give me 300 and we'll call it square. And then I would take it. You don't want to feel like a sellout? How does 50K, how does taking less money make you less of a sellout? You're squeezing MrBeast's empire dry of funds. Just take it. Would you goon for 190K? I would, would I goon? I don't know. I don't think I could goon. I would beatbox like the Joker. I would hit them with a why so serious? When they accuse me of a federal crime in court and the judge asks me what I plead and I say, why so serious? Hit a little Jonkler beatbox. I can't allow that to be clipped, so I can't do that.
Offer 50. You save $140,000. You just give me 50. That's gonna cover
Jake fired for calling Chris Tyson a BBL. Based
all my debts, some medical bills that I have. I have taxes on the back burner from last year because I'm freelance.
I have taxes on the back burner from last year because I'm freelance? Wait, what does that even mean? That just means you didn't pay your taxes properly. You being freelance doesn't explain why you have back taxes. What that actually means is that you made a bunch of money and then spent it frivolously and then you couldn't pay for your taxes. That's what that means. Because I'm freelance. I don't have back taxes. I paid all my taxes. What does that even mean? Buddy needs a CPA. Would you goon for $2? No, I would not. It would take much more than that.
And that'll get me back to zero. And I get to keep saying whatever the hell I want. I get to keep being...
But you could have said that for the 190K too. There wasn't a contract where it was like, if I send you this money, then you can never speak about me again. It was just him offering it like for free, like with no strings attached. So just take it.
Being honest, I get to keep being authentic. And I'm not going to worry about you guys coming after me for being myself. Yeah, great. Bank info still the same?
Why is this like dramatic, like evil music, like dun, 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 Vine thud? And then he offered me $200,000. Hold on. Bid idea. Run it up. Guys, I have a dark, dark story to tell you. It's very dark, and I need to be honest about it. Someone offered me money. Not only did they offer me money, they offered me $200,000 in exchange for nothing. They offered me $200,000, and not only that, they said I could say whatever I want. But I didn't want to seem like a sellout, guys. So instead, I said, I'll take 50K. And they said, you can't do that. I'm offering you more money. It'll change your life. And I said, I'd rather feel base than be a sellout. I owe back taxes. I'm freelance. I don't know how to pay taxes. I'm gay. Obama is 45. Not only that, when I was 10 years old, Chris Tyson came to my home. I said, I'm freaking gay, Chris. And you know what Chris did? Chris told me, I'm about to have a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. Here's $200,000. I'm gay. I'm gay. Guys. Men. I have a mullet. Yeah. That's my story. Can I have $500,000? Unfathomably dude, that's my story. I just had to come out with my story. I had to tell my story. It's a love story, baby, just say yes. Ooh, Semper Fi.
So that's
Skibbity.
That's the deal.
Why would he do all this? Maybe he thinks he can make more money making videos about MrBeast than MrBeast is actually offering him. In the description of the video, it says the channel is now monetized, and he also plugs his Patreon. Whatever the reason is, this video was the first time that someone has publicly come out and said that they have been contacted by MrBeast since all of this has begun. Jake Weddle was contacted by MrBeast, but still, he hasn't responded to any of the allegations from the videos that Dogpack 404 made. Well, apparently this was on purpose, because according to a video Ludwig posted on August 9th titled Finally Talking About MrBeast, he says that he spoke with Jimmy and that Jimmy claims he's planning on making a statement but waiting for something.
Jimmy is planning on making a statement? But he's waiting for something.
I called him and I said two things. One, when are you going to reply? And he echoed what was said in the Dogpack video, which is
I'm gay.
when everything comes out, he's going to make one reply as opposed to a reply after every single video. So we'll see when that happens.
That's right, MrBeast said he's not going to be making a statement until the third video in Dogpack's series comes out.
Well, the third video came out. It wasn't the original third video, but it wasn't a very good video. And it had a lot of bullshit in it. So I just think you need it, bro. Thank you, bro. I don't think we're going to see any kind of response from MrBeast at all. I think he's going to ignore it. Why wouldn't he? There's no benefit. There's no benefit to responding at this point. The allegations are already dying down. You know, should he in like a perfect world? Yeah, of course. I don't want to like defend MrBeast because there is stuff he's been accused of that's not good, but I just don't see it happening personally.
Out so we can make a statement about everything at the exact same time. And at this time, everybody was talking about this third installment, which was supposed to be the worst of the 3 videos. Dogpack even offered to show an early version to Twitch.
Well, it was the worst of the 3 videos in a way. It just wasn't in the way that he marketed it, but it was the worst of the 3 videos in terms of like quality and research, and it was the one with the false allegations in it.
Streamers and other YouTubers.
You want to review my next one and then tell me what to cut out?
I mean, I'll take a look.
That's freaking me! Oh, Turkey Tom! Guys, Asher Show contacted me for this video, and he said, if I don't eat $100,000 of Feastables, then I'm cringe.
Why so serious? Why so serious? Why so serious?
Okay. That is what he said, though. I failed the challenge, so I'm nothing.
Yeah, you know, don't trust my word just inherently, but yeah, I'll weigh in, sure.
But the reason it took so long...
By the way, I didn't get sent that video. I didn't get that video to review. Didn't happen. Didn't get it. Could have saved himself from a lot of trouble if I was involved, but didn't quite happen.
For a new segment to the series is...
Wendigoon, you! He says if you press the flag icon, you can report this stream to YouTube. You. I have to tell my story about Wendigoon. Something happened to me because of Wendigoon. The truth about Wendigoon is that when you go to his house and have gay sex with him, he has gay sex back. And if you don't have gay sex with him back, then he makes you eat Chris Tyson's Feastables bar. Bruh. That's the truth. That's my truth. God damn it. That's the true allegation. I have evidence. I heard it from someone else.
Because of legal reasons, according to a tweet Dogpack replied to. Part 3 issues. I have to get everything approved by the victims and my legal team, which takes time and money. I don't want the video to get age restricted and suppressed.
Thank you, Stink, for the
donut.
donut.
Save some stuff for when Jimmy responds. We'll post within the next week for sure though. But the allegations are starting to pile up. People are even making long mega threads with the complete list of the allegations, and every day new claims come out. Claims like how the charities MrBeast has endorsed in the past have been bogus, and that MrBeast's cousin and CEO of Beast Inc. should be investigated. Well, it's the beginning of September, and at the time...
Yeah, that didn't last that long. I hope Asher Show will get into... I hope we'll get into the fact that Dogpack was wrong. He was completely wrong about the domestic violence thing. I hope we'll get into that. I haven't seen a lot of his videos, so, you know, maybe he's actually super secretly based, but I feel like that's something that's got to be talked about because he did admit it. If you go to his Twitter account right now, he admits he f***ed it up. He won't admit that it's a false allegation, but he'll, say it in not as many words.
Time of me recording this video, Dogpack 404 has in fact released a third expose video.
Praise of Shadows is right about Wendigoon all along. Bet he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt right now. What do you think that means? Wendigoon wore a Hawaiian shirt.
In Dogpack's third video, he makes a lot of new claims pointing to the higher-ups of the MrBeast company, mainly directed towards the CEO of the company, who is MrBeast's cousin, James Warren, and the CFO of the company, Locoya Hill.
Also, I should
I think he's the COO, actually.
quickly clarify that a lot of this investigation is allegedly.
And here are the things that he points out. First, that James Warren was a drug addict and offered coke to employees to stay late.
James Warren, also allegedly an ex-drug addict. I've heard that he offered.
Well, he heard that. Well, that's good evidence. I think that means that he probably did it, right? I mean, he heard it from someone, just like with the domestic violence thing that turned out to be completely false. I mean, he heard it from someone, so it must be true, right? It must be true. Come on, guys. Allegedly. It's alleged, guys. Allegedly, this specific guy 10 children. No, I'm not saying it happened. I'm just saying, I'm just reporting the facts, but, it's alleged. There's a bunch of court cases I haven't looked into yet. Like, it's completely... You can't say shit like that, bro. You cannot say shit like that.
Cocaine and hookers to editors to stay late.
Also, there was a very bad incident between him and a female colleague.
That resulted in the female colleague leaving the company and receiving 3 years in severance pay. I'm still actively looking into this incident, so if you have information, let me know. But I've heard from multiple credible sources that this is true and this did happen.
He talks about how he was involved in a Ponzi scheme.
Ponzi schemes are great up until they just go bust.
Once again, even this, like, he was involved in a Ponzi scheme. Like, yeah, he was, like, his ex-business partner ran a Ponzi scheme, and the, police did an investigation. There was a court case. And his business partner went to jail, and he didn't. So he didn't even do anything wrong, really, that we know of. People are sheepish. Jimmy made a video talking about the things that you and Nick have mentioned about Cuckpack 404. Everyone will get back in line to start sucking him again. It's cool to hate now. I mean, I don't know if they would. I mean, it depends on who you're talking about. I think MrBeast acknowledging a lot of the public allegations would probably make him look much worse because a lot of people don't even know about it. You have to keep in mind, like, such a small percentage of MrBeast's audience even knows that these allegations are made. MrBeast has 300 million subscribers. He averages 100 to 200 to 300 million views a video. Dogpack, his most viewed video, has like 15 million views. The majority of people who watch MrBeast don't even know about this. Most of them don't even speak English. Would MrBeast, if he responded, be able to bring up the shit that Dogpack did wrong? Yeah, and justifiably so. Some of the legitimate, allegations and claims and, proven unethical practices against him, I think would be harder for him to respond to. And as a result, I think he's just not going to respond at all. Hey, Tom, you started streaming literally as I clocked in. Just want to give you shout outs to the GOAT. Keep going, bro. Keep it up. Thank you, brother.
So before working at MrBeast, James Warren was involved in a literal fraud. In fact, he's actually mentioned in the court transcripts of...
Even the framing is like he was involved in a literal fraud. It's like he knew someone who committed fraud. He knew someone who committed fraud. He didn't commit it.
This case.
And then he gets into his character.
From what I've heard of James Warren's character, how
From what I've heard,
hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog, defraud...
A bunch of shit that is completely unproven, by the way. Completely unproven. There's no evidence for any of that. And he states it almost as if it's a fact. He will say on one hand, oh, it's alleged. From what I've heard about his character, I think it's true. And it's like, well, why would you even assume it's true if it's only something you've heard and you can't confirm? That's not how you're supposed to report on this shit. You're not supposed to just believe something about a massive public figure or an employee at a company or the CEO of a company just because someone else said it. And that's the trouble he got himself into with the domestic violence stuff.
Frauded people in his own ways.
He helped the fraud. He was talking to an old woman to say that the scam was true and works. But the thing is, if he had knowingly helped the fraud, he would be in jail. All we have proof of is the fact that he recommended his business partner, who he didn't know was involved in fraud. There's no proof of that. He's innocent until proven guilty. All we know is that he recommended that she work with that guy. That's all we know. There's literally no proof of anything else. There's no proof that he knew. Rich people don't go to jail, though. That's not always true. Rich people do go to jail if they commit crimes. That's not the case at all. In your opinion, is Dogpack done, or is this an issue of pressure to deliver? Is he done? I mean, I think some of the public would probably still respect him. I have little faith in his ability to report on, a factual basis now. Pressure to deliver? I mean, maybe he was under pressure to deliver, but that's not an excuse to falsely accuse someone of beating a woman.
Juice is an interesting one that could be looked into, which was done with MrBeast.
Here are some testimonies that didn't make it into Dogpack 404's videos. Some longer testimony mentioning James. Keep in mind, I've had hundreds of off-the-record phone calls. And the anonymous person says, for context, I worked there for about 4 months, but had pretty close relationships with a lot of the main cast there. There's a ton I could mention.
Damn, 20 good allegations, 1 wrong, and you lose faith in him completely? Bro, yeah. Yes, actually. Yes. That is how it works. Because he slandered someone. He slandered someone. He said that he believed personally. And, you know, he can say, oh, allegedly for legal reasons. But he said that he believed personally that James Warren beat girls, beat a dog, okay, with literally no proof. And he eventually had to admit that it's all fake. Does that mean that everything Dogpack said is not true in regards to his prior 2 videos? No. But it does mean that he's not a completely reliable narrator. And frankly, it kind of makes him, you know, not a good dude. He slanders someone. Tom, please don't shave your head again. You're going to look like an acorn. I will. Wanted to re-up on my previous thanks. Enjoy a one-way trip to Zimbabwe and MrBeast. Thanks. Dude, if this was anyone else, okay? If this was anyone else, let's say a YouTuber, okay? A commentary YouTuber. Nick is not green. Nick is not green undoubtedly has made as many as 100 videos where he was justifiably going after the person involved. He made hundreds of videos. Not all of them had false information. Not all of them were bad faith. But a few of them were. And that did ruin his credibility. Yes. That means you have to triple and quadruple fact check everything else they do. So yes, of course.
But a lot of it has already been aired out, it seems. A lot of my issues stem from the culture and how toxic it was. For starters, James Warren, who was the CEO when I was there, is possibly one of...
So is the Astro Show going to talk about the fact that Dogpack got shit wrong? Is he actually... It doesn't even look like he talked about that.
The most unfit CEOs in the entire world. He's a douche and never once entered the office without making someone cry. He played up the whole alpha male thing and would verbally berate and intimidate employees instead of trying to come to solutions how any normal person would. I've heard many serious allegations surrounding him, but I don't really care to speculate. End all be all is a culture of, if you F up once, you're fired. Made work so stressful, even if you're a fantastic employee. He was supposedly Jimmy's cousin, which is hilarious because that makes total sense if it's true. He does not know how to properly communicate, the turnaround time was atrocious, and I blame that primarily on the toxicity. Going further into the video, he talks about James Warren's best friend and producer for MrBeast.
I hate that he even just says best friend here as if that's necessarily the truth when we don't even know if it's his best friend. And by the way, there's a big inconsistency in that video that shows that James Warren and Locoya Hill are not as tied as Dogpack seemingly thought they were, okay? And I can actually show you it right now, okay? So, in the video, if you remember, Dogpack 404 talked about Locoya Hill and James Warren and how they're friends, and he also talked about how they went to school together. Here's what he said.
Friend Locoya Hill, they both went to UNC Chapel Hill together, and they both...
That's not true. That's actually not even true. What actually happened is they went there at different times. Completely different times. So if you look at James Warren, this is his page. I don't think I can show, actually I can screenshot a part of it. There's a phone number on it, so I don't think I can show that on YouTube, but I can screenshot a part of it, okay? Let me grab this for you. So Locoya Hill, okay, here's his. This says that he went to the school, UNC Chapel Hill. He started in 1997 and he finished in 2001, okay? That's this screenshot. This is Locoya Hill, okay? James Warren, on the other hand, attended at a different time. He actually went after Locoya Hill, which makes sense because he's younger than him, I believe. If you look here, he attended the same school from 2002 to 2005, which is obviously after 1997 to 2001. These are different years. So, like, this is a minor point, but it makes me question a lot of the other stuff that Dogpack is willing to say when he says they went to school together. They didn't. They didn't meet there. If they did, you got to have better proof for it. Why not even check the dates when you're doing the research?
In 2019, Locoya Hill. In 2021, Locoya Hill was alleged.
Is this point to prove their friendship? Yeah, the point that he was showing that was to prove that they met. He literally said they met at UNC Chapel Hill. He said they met there. They went to school together. They're best friends. We have no proof that they're best friends at all. Keep in mind, we have none. It's just this guy's word against others. It's what Dogpack claims. So I don't even know if they're best friends. I don't know if they've even been in the same room. I don't. Like the research on this third video was not good. He was not triple checking. Okay, he was not dotting his T's and dotting his I's and crossing his T's. He wasn't doing it.
Allegedly fired for sexual, but actually what?
And your point doesn't mean anything. When I was in school, so many of my befriended people that graduated to get some less in old exams and stuff. Okay, my point actually does mean a lot, and this is a completely comment, and I'm going to explain why. The point of what I'm saying is he said they met at Chapel Hill, okay, when we have no proof of that. His evidence was that they went there at the same exact time. They did not. That is not even the case. And you say, okay, well, so what? There's a possibility that they did meet there. I agree. There's a possibility of anything. There's a possibility that Chris Tyson will crawl out of my asshole right now and fly into the ceiling. There's no proof of that. And you have to have proof to make a claim. That is my point. Acknowledging the possibility of something happening, okay? Acknowledging the possibility of something happening is not the bar that you need to meet for evidence. That is not the bar you need to meet for evidence when you're making a public allegation against someone.
Wasn't really fired, but instead was moved to another company and then was brought back in 2023.
People lie about the years they graduated all the time. Well, do you have proof that they lied? All we have is like public LinkedIn profiles that show the years they were there.
He was actually brought back to MrBeast in 2023 after sexually his assistant prior, and promoted to Chief Financial Officer, which is how I personally was introduced to him.
Then they go over the testimonies of former employees that have verified the stories about.
Like the biggest problem I have is like with this shit, people are like, oh, well, that's just a little point. Oh, well, he got one thing wrong. And it's like, okay, he didn't get one thing wrong. He got a lot wrong. But the problem is that he's cobbling together the conspiracy board is a funny visual because I think it almost reads a little bit more into Dogpack's mind, especially with the third video, than he's willing to let on. He cobbles together a bunch of information that if you look at it really quickly, it kind of looks bad. But if you actually acknowledge, you know, what he has there, there's a lot of room for the people involved to be innocent. There's no proof that, frankly, there's no proof Locoya Hill sexually assaulted someone. There isn't any. It's possible, but there's no proof of it. And because of that, I don't think you should be accusing him of sexually assaulting someone. This is the same standard of evidence people would use for any other YouTuber. But because it's MrBeast and MrBeast sucks, him, right? Let's just say whatever the fuck we want. No, that's not being principled. If you believe in having justifiable evidence, you are looked as a Jimmy Glazer. Yeah, exactly.
Locoya Hill and his time at the MrBeast company.
Locoya Hill, the current COO. In 2021, he had an assistant named victim's name. I heard Locoya acted very inappropriately with victim, booking hotel rooms with only one bed, walking around in his underwear, having victim come to his house and showing him his sex toy collection. Just in general, Locoya made victim.
Do people actually lie about what year they graduate? How likely is that really? I agree with you to make the accusations when you have more evidence. I mean, they could. The thing is, they could lie. I don't know. But I have no reason to believe that they did lie on their LinkedIn profile where, I mean, with LinkedIn, when you're applying for a job, right, you have to leave contacts for where you went to school. They can easily... You know, anybody who sees your job application can easily call up the school and be like, did they go here from this amount of time? So in theory, you would want to tell the truth in your job application because you know your employer could check it at any time. You can get in serious shit for lying on a job application. It's like, could they lie on a job application? Yeah, of course they could. But like, we don't have proof that they did lie. The only record we have of them going to school anywhere, the record that Dogpack himself used to show that they went to school at the same amount of time, actually shows they didn't. So whether or not they lied on their resume, which we have no proof of, Dogpack still didn't do the proper research to show like whether they went to school or not at the same time. He didn't. There's a burden of proof when you make an accusation that you need to reach, and Dogpack didn't reach it. And that's why he ended up claiming, okay, publishing unsubstantiated allegations that James Warren beat his girlfriend. He said he beat his girlfriend. He said, oh, I'm still looking into court cases. When he looked at the court cases, which he should have had from the beginning, when he actually got those FOIA requests back, okay, what did he find? He found that James Warren actually, there's no evidence he beat anyone.
Victim uncomfortable. Victim started complaining to higher-ups, and a report got written.
You can't get in trouble for lying on a job application. You can if you get hired because of a lie. You can get fired easily.
Locoya was put on paid leave for like a month. Then MrBeast moved him to the dubbing company, and he was hired back in 2023 and was promoted to COO, even though Jimmy, James, and Sue 100% know his history.
And then he goes through all of the verified MrBeast employees, all corroborating this exact same story.
There were reports of him making these...
That's not even true, though. They didn't corroborate the exact same story. They corroborated very differing levels of severity. One person said one thing. They were like, oh, I heard he sexually assaulted his assistant. Someone else was like, oh, I heard he brought someone over when he was in his underwear and showed them his dildos. Another person said, oh, well, this is what I heard. I heard he was gay and he slept with his straight employee and there was a conflict of interest there. They didn't all say the same thing. That's not true. They didn't all say the same exact thing. Not true at all.
assistants sleep in the same rooms
Are you the next guest on Talk to It? Yeah, of course.
/ bed with him on trips, touching him inappropriately, and dangling his job in front of him.
After he goes through all of these messages that he got from verified people that work for MrBeast, he talks about the inappropriate work culture. And this is a message from another employee from a woman's perspective.
On my very first day, I was told to avoid being alone in a room with certain people in positions of power. At least once a week, I was subjugated to inappropriate
At this point, I'm even questioning like the verification he's doing for MrBeast employees. Who knows who the f he's sourcing, right? Who knows who they are?
questions and conversations. Once a male coworker asked me what I would do if Jimmy assaulted or harassed me. On another occasion, this same coworker said it wasn't fair that women could just decide a past sexual encounter wasn't consensual. Many of the men I worked with would make assault and
Okay, I see a lot of people saying that some places incentivize you to lie on your resume. That could be the case, but whatever the case is, we have no proof that Locoya Hill lied in his resume. We have no proof of that. Okay? And that's related to the time that he went to UNC Chapel Hill. And also, why would you lie about the time that you went to college? Why would you lie in your resume and say, oh, I went to this college from 2002 to 2005, when in reality you went from 1997 to 01? Why would you lie about that? It's such an unimportant lie. What if it's a Mama Max type situation? He's just walking around on campus after graduation? Who knows, bro? Anyway, back to watching the vid. My favorite video of all time. Oh, wait, I got this thing. Check this out, guys. I got a pocket goat. Look at this. It has other noises. It has the scream. It has this one called bleat. It has this one called kids. And it has this one called goats. This is for you guys. This is called goats. But my favorite one is definitely the scream. I'm so mad. I can't freaking take it anymore. I think it's cool.
Jokes on a daily basis. They would scream and hit walls when they got upset. The minute any woman leaves a room, they would talk about if/how they would fuck her. I've heard men comment on female contestants' bodies many times. Not everyone behaves this way.
Once again, this is like interesting, but there's no proof for it whatsoever. You know, there's no proof, and I'm not saying you can never talk about unsubstantiated allegations like in a passing sense, but Dogpack is the one publishing them, so the burden of proof is on him. The burden of proof is on him. Chris rated you. Thank you, Chris. The burden of proof is on him to prove whether or not this shit happened.
No one openly speaks out against it in fear of losing their job. If you complain about any of this, you'll be shamed for being too sensitive or just ignored. You can't take any.
Didn't he say they were jokes out of context? Are you talking about Dr. Disrespect? He said that after, in one specific instance in his video, but he actually didn't say they were jokes taken out of context. He said, if you take anybody's statements out of context, they can make it look bad. That's what he said. Keep in mind, prior to that, he said, I had inappropriate interactions with a minor. It was bad. I shouldn't have entertained them. I had no real intentions, which implies he had fantastical, fantasy intentions. So, yeah. Thank you, Chris Lenark.
Anything to HR either, because Jimmy's mom runs it. It's pretty common for people to essentially get paid to leave and stay quiet if they make enough noise about something. There is no employee handbook, by the way. If you ask for one or what the company's policies are, they just tell you to ask them and they'll let you know if anything is against the rules. But again, there's nothing in writing.
Final allegations were all about MrBeast, and some of this might be hard to hear, but this is exactly what he says about MrBeast being a misogynist.
Behind closed doors, the women in the company know that the culture is a problem. I have heard multiple stories of Jimmy being directly informed of SA happening at the company and proactively working to keep it quiet. So just directly implicating Jimmy in the SA cover-ups.
Is there any proof of that, though? Like, is there any proof whatsoever? When I saw the article of MrBeast buying a neighborhood for his employees to live in, I knew there was something wrong with that company. What does that even mean? Why? Why would that imply there's something wrong? Because he bought a house? Because he bought a neighborhood of houses so that his employees could live there to be closer to the offices? How? What? Given Jimmy's misogyny, it's so ironic and satisfying to know that a woman, Rosanna Pansino, is one of the main voices exposing him. Where is his misogyny? How do you know he's misogynistic? How do you know that? What makes you think he's a misogynist?
So she's one of the people corroborating that story. Ava told Jimmy about a time
the dark history of company towns, yeah.
She was essayed by another talent member on a private jet, and talent members / employees making advances towards contestants was a regular occurrence. The reason all of this was able to happen for so long is because Jimmy is deeply misogynistic and only respects what he considers to be traditional women.
This is the problem. Like, this is the shit that makes them think he's misogynistic. A random DM from some guy that then told this to Dogpack, and then Dogpack repeated it. You don't even know who this person is. You don't know where the they came from. The only other evidence Jimmy's a misogynist, okay, is the fact that he in like 2018 made a joke about women being dumb, which everyone was doing at that time, and people still do because it's kind of funny, okay? Like, it's so nothing. These people, I don't know. I've become so black-pilled through every drama and how the average person is.
He pushed those values into the company when he created it, and it resulted in several SA allegations we know about, and probably a lot more we don't know yet.
Never actually respect a woman, but just act like you respect. I don't really get along.
Once again, like, these out of context clips being like repeated in YouTube videos are clearly poisoning the well. The first one was clearly a joke. And this one is him just saying he doesn't get along with girls, which does not make you a misogynist, by the way. MrBeast jerking my Tom at 4 a.m. That's true. I did do that. I mean, he did that. It wasn't me.
Along with women.
I just highlighted some of the important parts about his video, but if you want to see the entire thing, the link is going to be in the description.
You should probably highlight the fact that he got the allegation wrong. Has he made a video about that? Doesn't look like it. You should probably highlight the fact that he falsely accused James Warren of beating girls. I think you should probably talk about that. Just saying. Maybe this video was posted before he admitted that, but yeah, I think you should probably talk about that.
But at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I spoke with another MrBeast employee who came forward with his story. Well, I spoke with him directly, and he shed a light on a couple things that weren't really discussed in anyone else's videos or testimonies. How long did you work for Jimmy for? You said 3 years.
Yeah, so I worked for Jimmy from November of 2018 to...
All right, so we're going to go into this interview with the assumption that nothing is proven until we're shown otherwise. So this is just one guy saying that these things happened. It could be interesting. He could be telling the truth. He could be lying. Ultimately, we just got to have to wait and see. But we're going into this with the impression that there's no specific evidence of any claim he's making. So just keep that in mind, okay? I'm not going to repeat a million times, no proof, no proof, no proof, because that's already assumed. So we're just going to listen to what he says and comment on the possibility of it being true, comment on what it could mean if it is true. But keep in mind here, when we watch this video, I cannot stress this enough, we don't know if what he's saying is accurate or valid, other than the fact that he worked at MrBeast. I think that is confirmed.
I think beginning October of 2021, so almost 3 years.
What did you do there, mainly? Just editing?
I started off with me editing for Beast Reacts in 2018. Did a lot of work to really prove myself on that, and then became editor and post-production manager on. Also, I had some water on my lips, so that's going to be great on the camera. I moved to post-production manager and editor at the same time for Beast Reacts, like 2018, 2019-ish. And then they really still enjoyed my work up to that point. So at the end of 2019,
never seen a man with a wig. Is he wearing a wig? Is that on his real hair? I don't understand. It looks real. You can see the roots right there. You can see it connecting to his head. I don't think it's a wig. Why do you keep saying it's a wig? How is it a wig? How do you know it's a wig? Look at his streams.
Hey.
Why did he do that? Wait, what the Wait. Wait. I don't even care that he's bald or balding. I don't even care. But whoa. Why did he wear a wig? What the? It's a hair transplant? But this stream is from 2 months ago. If you get a hair transplant, you can't just regrow all that hair instantly. It would take time. Wait, that's such a good wig. It matches his hair color and everything. I thought it was real. What the? Wait. Oh my God. Comb over? It's not a comb over. This is not a comb over. You can't just comb over your hair to have new roots at the front of your head. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I know we're derailing, but I straight up didn't believe you. Wow. All right, back to the interview. All right, goddamn. Holy shit.
I was contracted to go out to North Carolina to work on main channel videos because December of 2019 was just like, they were pushing out one video a week. And like they were all huge videos and it was like all hands on deck. So they wanted me to go out there and help on that. I went out there and then, put in my worth out there to the point where they enjoyed it so much that they offered for me to move out to North Carolina and work full time as a editor / post-production manager. And I accepted. So in January of 2020, I moved out to North Carolina, worked on more main channel videos. They wanted me to work on main channel videos, but they also wanted me to head this other subsidiary company they had called Horizontal Productions. And eventually they told me that I needed to stop working on the main channel videos and just head Horizontal Productions for gaming and reacts. I basically did that from March of 2020 to October of 2021. During that time, I was post-production manager. I was also production manager. I was also an editor, and I was also a retention specialist. Like,
all right, so where do we get to the good stuff? Are there timestamps? I know there was something about Adderall, drugs, coke. I thought there was something about Adderall. Is Adderall with one R? Oh, it is with one R. Holy shit. Okay. Here we go.
What is it, Monday? He's over there working.
James Warren is the one that strongholds the entire company to change the video to how he thinks the video needs to be changed to.
So you were working around the time that James Warren was actually still CEO there?
Yes, yeah. I think James Warren is still CEO there.
Oh.
James Warren, I think he's always been the CEO of MrBeast.
To your knowledge, did you know about him offering substances to people to stay and work longer?
Yep. Adderall. There was a huge, I say huge, but it was all internal. There was a time in summer of 2020, it might have been fall, where Adderall was being passed around the company, and there were higher up employees that were offering it to other employees just so they could work all night and edit videos all night, so that way they could like stop complaining and stop sleeping.
I feel like my perspective on this claim in particular is super fried because I have done, in my life, I've done a decent amount of Adderall to get stuff done, especially when I was in college, when I was grinding, when I was trying to not have to be at college anymore, so I want to make a bunch of money. I took a bunch of, I think, Adderall, Vyvanse, I think those are the two. So I took a bunch of it. You know, is it unethical to pass out Adderall to employees, like, you know, substances to employees when they're not prescribed it? Yeah, obviously. It's technically illegal too. But I had a prescription for sure. We can tell. I'm actually not on Adderall right now, to be honest. I have relatively high energy, but I'm not on Adderall at all. Swear on my life. I'll do a drug test sometime, okay? If you ever see me in person, ask me to piss in a cup, I'm not taking Adderall at all. But yeah, if I had to guess, they could probably get in some serious trouble for this. If I had to guess. I don't really know. But yeah, right now. Yeah, I did say right now. I'm like Dr. Disrespect. Okay. I'm not on Adderall right now. Have I been on Adderall? You don't have any proof of that. You don't have any proof of it. Did I admit to taking Adderall at some point? Maybe I did. But you don't have any proof of that. So yeah. Now there's another claim I wanted to see in here related specifically to Locoya Hill. That's what I wanted to see.
The CEO?
Because I know he talked about Locoya Hill in this interview. Here we go.
And there's so much behind the scenes with sexual, with abusing employees. He's guilty of all of those.
Did you know about Locoya Hill, or have you met Locoya, or
I very much worked with Locoya to the point where, I don't know if you saw my tweet the other day, but after that video came out, after Dogpack's video came out about Locoya, like all of those memories just rushed back to me, and I was just like, oh my god, he was kicked out of the company because of sexual. There's so many things about all of these stories coming out that I straight up just forgot because A, it's traumatizing. B, it's just so much information that whenever it comes up, it just strikes right back in.
So what's interesting is that he's basically corroborating what was in Dogpack's video about Locoya. That doesn't mean it happened for sure. He could be lying. He could be schizophrenic, but he also could be telling the truth. So I think that's important to have here. I am glad that he was willing to come on camera with his face and, you know, verify the allegations. I think that's a good thing. You know, instead of having all the anonymous sources from Dogpack's video, I think it's good to like have your face out and just talk about what happened, supposedly, allegedly, you know. I think it's good. So, yeah, like, you know, that's interesting.
In my head, and I'm just like, oh my god, he did touch his assistant and things like that. So, like, yes, I talked a lot with Locoya when I was at MrBeast. When the sexual assault allegations or accusations started in 2021. It was announced in the company that Locoya was taking a family leave, and that family leave occurred for a month. And then someone messaged me, and I don't.
Bias, but also as someone who needs Adderall virus to function, thinking about it being given out freely right before the shortage gives me mixed feelings. I mean, I think that's not the only problem. The other problem is just like offering to like overwork your employees using, you know, illicit substances is not a good thing, right? Like Adderall is like on average relatively harmless, but it's still an illicit drug. It's still basically meth. You know, I don't want to say basically meth. That's not exactly true, but it's chemically similar to meth. So it's not like it's just like an unserious drug. It is a serious thing to take. You don't know about pre-existing health conditions that can exist with the people you're handing it out to. Like maybe it'll affect them negatively. It's not prescription, so it's illegal. Like there's so many bad angles to that. I don't think you can really defend like passing out Adderall to employees, especially if there's some kind of pressuring involved. Like it's just not, I don't think you can really speed, not meth, whatever. I don't think you can really deny that, you know.
I don't remember if it was Ava. I don't remember if it was.
So there's like 12 different problematic angles, I think, to that. I don't think it's good to pass out Adderall to employees, probably.
Carl or someone, but someone messaged me and they gave me the tip of, hey, look.
But we don't know if that happened. This is this guy claiming it. He could be lying. He could be misremembering. Maybe he didn't even see it happen firsthand. I don't know. It's an allegation, you know, for all intents and purposes, allegation.
Locoya's not been on family leave for a month. He got caught sexually his assistant, and I was like, what the?
Wow.
He took his leave July, and then it was.
Wait, he got messaged about it. He didn't know if it happened firsthand. Hold on.
But someone messaged me, and they gave me the tip of, hey, look.
So he didn't see it happen firsthand. He didn't get like internal documents about it. He was told by someone else about the Locoya thing.
Locoya's not been on family leave for a month. He got caught sexually his assistant, and I was like, what the?
Wow.
He took his leave July, and then it was confirmed that that happened in like August of 2021. And the tweet that I posted the other day was also, you know, it didn't like confirm my knowledge of the sexual allegations or anything, although, you know, there's messages of that too. It just added more info about.
So we're kind of at the same exact spot we were before, because I thought this guy would have more involvement, but he basically got the information from someone else who said that it happened, which is the same amount of proof that Dogpack had. So maybe it did happen, maybe it didn't, but I don't see super compelling evidence here.
Like how things are run in the company, because Locoya had a pretty high position in the company. Like he was production manager.
I'm looking at it right now. When I went back to look at logs about Locoya, this story came up.
And about like how there was I got hunted by an FBI agent video in 2021. And what people don't know is that that was the second time that was recorded. Very similar to the Jake Weddle story.
What?
Amazing how that happened so much in 2021. The first time that they recorded it, they didn't vet the FBI agent talent properly, and it ended up that guy was a psychopath and like bumped into the car that Ava and Chandler and all the other talent were in, and like made them drive off the road and crash.
What? I would like to see some proof for that. They hired a psychopathic FBI agent for their video and he ran them off the road? What? I just had like a record scratch sound effect in my head. You guys know what I mean? Like a record scratch rewind DJ, you know? Wanna freaking these guys? I just had one of those. I just had one of those for real, all right? I had one of those, okay? You know, just hit rewind right there. What?
And yeah, like he bumped it. He bumped to the back of their car and made them crash. I don't know if it was into a ditch. I don't know if it was into a tree, but they crashed the car. And like it got to the point where they had to stop recording, and then they decided that they were going to go separate ways with the FBI agent, but not before the FBI agent said that he used to be in the war in Afghanistan. And he said that he got PTSD about the war from that video. And then also
Chris Kyle moment, strong sense of deja vu.
Actually being at the war in Afghanistan was actually fun. So
base psychopath. What the hell? I love getting them Afghans. They deserved it. They came after our towers. We ain't got no twin towers no more. I'ma love it.
Yeah, he does sound like a psychopath.
Yeah. Just searching Locoya in the group chat just brought up so many like different instances of Locoya not knowing what the he was doing at the company.
Yeah.
Because he's best friends with James Warren. So that's...
Can we see those DMs,
that's why, Locoya was then...
Researching the group chat, can we see them?
And quote-unquote let go in 2021, but then secretly shuffled within the company to a lower position where I guess he wasn't as visible in documents, and then eventually promoted to another position of power. Up until, very recently, whenever they had to restructure the company with the leaked email from within MrBeast's team. And then he got reshuffled to, circling right back to it.
All right, we're kind of at the same exact level of proof we were before with this, but whatever. Can't stop staring at his wig. It's a good wig. It had me fooled. I didn't even notice that there were two different hair colors. I assumed he just dyed his hair or something. But I also had noticed that he had like splotches on his head, and I didn't know what that was. Is this like tanner or something? Like his skin looks like a slightly different color. I don't know if it's just the camera, but it looks like there's like one color here and one color here and one color here. I don't think it's just shadows though. Like it looks like he's sprayed with orange or something. I don't know. I was very perplexed. He's a lizard based. All right, chat. On that note, I know that this stream VOD has only been a couple hours long, but an hour and a half long, but I've actually been live for like 5.5, 6 hours. So I'm going to get off. Yeah. If you want to get stream clips, go to the Tom Dark Live channel. If you want to watch the full VODs, become a member on the channel. And yeah, that's about all there is to it. Almost at 50K on the live channel. Almost at 50K. Love to see it. Love to see it. All right. I will catch you guys later.